Good morning, Nacogdoches. Welcome to our Easter at the Coliseum, the 21-day devotion countdown. My name is Pastor Noel, and today is day 19, Friday, April the 7th. Our Bible passage today, Matthew 27, verses 15 through 56. I hope you'll take the time when this devotion video is over to read that passage. What we have here in this passage, very important passage, we have Matthew's account of the crucifixion. Now, in this passage, we begin with Jesus standing before Pilate. And Pilate, reluctant really to pass sentence on Jesus, though that was what the Jewish leaders were demanding. So Pilate looks to the crowd and asks if they would like him to release Jesus or Barabbas. He had a custom to release a prisoner once each year at this time of year, the Passover time. And the crowd said, "Give us Barabbas." And so Jesus was condemned to die. The next part of this, we see Jesus before some of the soldiers as he is mocked and mistreated. Then we see the crucifixion. Jesus is nailed to the cross. A number of things happen. Jesus is on the cross for a total of 6 hours, and then Jesus dies. All that's recorded here in this passage in the book of Matthew. So I hope you'll take some time and just meditate on all of these verses. There's so much here that is important. The verse that most stood out to me, though, was verse 51, Matthew 27:51, which says, "Suddenly the curtain of the sanctuary was torn in two from the top to the bottom. The earth quaked, and the rocks were split." Now, I love this verse. It meant something, first of all, to the people of that day, and then it means something to all of us, and then it's just a great reminder. Let me go through those pretty quickly. What did it mean to people of that day? Well, it meant, first of all, that the role of the temple was over. No longer would they bring sacrifices to the temple and pray to a God who, in a sense, was represented by the Holy of Holies behind this curtain. No, now all of that is destroyed. It is laid open. It is laid bare, and the role of the temple is over. There will be no more sacrifices. Now, the fact that the curtain was torn from the top to the bottom would have indicated to people in that day that this is a judgment of God, that this is a determination of God. It came from heaven. It came from God, and he has completely done away with the role of the physical temple, Now, what does it mean to us today that this curtain has been torn? Well, because Christ is our mediator between us and the Father. Since Christ is our mediator, there is no longer a divide. You see, this curtain divided the people from the Holy of Holies, the most holy place, and it represented this divide that existed between the people and God because the people were guilty of sin, and there had been no atonement for that sin, no payment for that sin. But now, with Jesus, the death of Christ on the cross, there had been payment. And so now this dividing wall between us and the Father is gone. What an encouragement. It also reminds us today that we can come boldly before the throne of grace. Those are the words that the Bible uses. We can come to the Father in prayer, not through a priest, not by going to a location, but we can come right now, every one of us, before the Father in prayer boldly because of what Jesus has done, and that's signified by this curtain torn from the top to the bottom. There's just a reminder. It's a reminder that God wants fellowship with his children. What does it mean when we hear somebody say that they have an open door policy, or that they have thrown the doors open to the community or to some group of people, or that there is going to be a grand opening? Well, all of those things are ways to say that people are welcome. Well, when the curtain was torn, this is God's grand opening. in a sense. This is God inviting all of us who are children of God, who have trusted what Christ has done on the cross for the forgiveness of sins. He is inviting, He is welcoming us. What an encouraging verse. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for day 20 of our devotion. But I hope today, even today, that you would reach out to somebody and invite them to join us for Easter at the Colosseum. Thank you.